Got our Coeur d'Alene Casino fan question of the week now, and Teresa from Spokane writes in, and she asks, Coach, how do you balance time for the sport of basketball while still allowing the kids to have time with their families over this holiday?
That's a tough one, but it's one that's obviously dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And this is a special time of year, and I think it's very important that not only the players get time away from basketball and get back to their families and the traditions that they have around Christmas, but also that our staff does too. And the tough thing is goes back to that scheduling quandary. You know, when you have your games and the one before and the one after, and how much time do you need, and obviously travel with where our guys are all coming from. But we got a decent little break as far as college basketball breaks are concerned. With our time having the game on the 19th, and we don't play again until the 28th. So we'll come back, and we're going to have to practice Christmas night, and then a couple practices probably on the 26th and 27th, because you got to get ready for a tough game on the 28th.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on the Mark Few Show. Happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you next week. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mark Few Show. Greg Heister along with Coach. And Coach, another big week ahead of you guys here at Gonzaga. Eastern Washington, this is a tougher game than people think it'll be. And then some biggies against Oklahoma and Illinois in the front of you here. Yeah,
this is one of those weeks when you look at the schedule at the start of the year. This is a real tough stretch here, and one we're going to have to, we got to rebound quickly and get our feet back under us and get playing the way we're capable of playing after that Duke game. So, with the Eastern and the proximity and just kind of the local rivalry and they've played well in a lot of games this year, and I think they've got their talent level is certainly raised up. Kirk's done a good job with that. What they're running and how they're playing defensively and rebounding wise, and how they got multiple people that can kind of hurt you in a bunch of different ways. Scoring the basketball, we'll have our hands full. I watched the Cougar game with them. It came down to a shot by Klay Thompson at 25 feet there with under a minute or so to go to kind of get them some breathing room. So, these games are always tough. And then after that, obviously Oklahoma, a Big 12 opponent with, that's picked near the top of the Big 12 with a lot of guys back from a team that went pretty far. Obviously they lost Blake Griffin, but their guards are back. They added one of the best point guards in the country and one of the best big kids in the country. That'll be a huge challenge for us, and then followed up with Illinois, who again is in the NCAA tournament last year, but definitely on the rise. They got a lot of young talent.
Give me a sense as a coach how difficult you play this really tough non-conference schedule every year. How difficult it is late December, early January. How run down do you guys get? This is a stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Months.
It is. It's difficult to be playing your best basketball right now because there's just big game after big game after big game. You saw our squad go through that last year a little bit. And so, it takes as much mental toughness as it does physical, and thankfully, the break was here. So physically, we should be well rested. Now we just need to make sure mentally that we're dialed back into competing, because again, if we don't play good and compete at a high level in any of those games, we will not win. And that's just the way it is with this year's team. As I said all along, we're not going to over-talent or out-talent anybody. So we've got to come ready to compete and ready to do anything and everything, for whether it's rebounding or defense or poking balls loose and creating turnovers, or stepping up and competing as a shooter and making shots. We got to get back to doing all of that.
It's the Mark Few Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Mark Few Show. Well, he's the patriarch of this Gonzaga basketball coaching staff. He's had great influence on these players over the years, and now he's going to have great influence on you. Here's a chance for you to sit down with the doctor, the mad publisher, Jerry Krause.
You know, I'm a small town farm kid from Nebraska, and I just somehow fell in love with the game. I was a very average player. I got on a team at a small college in Nebraska, Wayne State College. And, you know, it just opened up for me. The Pacific Northwest has been my place for a long time. I was head coach at Eastern Washington for 17 years, and then I've been here longer than any of our staff at Gonzaga, and I've just developed an affinity for Gonzaga's mission. I love basketball, and I've written more books than anybody in the history of basketball, but my passion is to have a basketball program that not only develops fundamental skills, which is my bag in basketball, but also develops people. I think that's the real value of competitive sports.
There's so many people in the game of basketball that's for themselves. Coach Krause is for the game of basketball. You know, with the work he's done in his life, with how many books he's written, it's in the 20s, all the different videos. You know, he really is about what's best for basketball.
My goal is to, really get to them and understand them and find what makes them tick and help them in their fundamental skill development, but also, more importantly, help them in their path of life. With the program itself, I like to, I try to coach the coaches. I have the most experience of any of the coaches, so I try to give my input to them to see if they'll listen to a little bit of wisdom now and then. Sometimes experience gives you a great perspective, and that's always valuable, I think, if you use it.
He's a Hall of Famer, is what he is. And he does so much for other people that people have no idea about. Either a note or sending them a copy of whatever somebody's struggling with, zone offense, whatever it may be, to trying to get people into the Hall of Fame. I know he was big and with Coach Heathcote. Coach Heathcote this next weekend's going in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. Coach Krause is the silent guy in all those different things.
I really do not believe in the concept of retirement. This is my 50th year in the game of basketball coaching, and I just feel that you need the mental, physical, and social stimulation to fully realize your potential. So I'm not ever interested in retiring. I'll probably be one of those people that have a heart attack when I'm being interviewed for during one of our situations. My father committed suicide when I was 4 years old. My mother died of childbirth when I was born. And so really basketball has been my family. And I could have gone down a lot of paths, but I had some great teachers and coaches who became my family and became my mentors. And basketball really saved my life. I could have done a lot. I could have been a real outstanding criminal, I think, or someone who really went down the wrong path. And I think basketball coaches really kept me from doing that. And I attribute that to somehow God put basketball in my world, and then I just kept going with it. And I've coached high school and college and head coach, assistant coach, and I've just been very fortunate to be able to give back to that game, which really saved my life.
And welcome back to the Mark Few Show. This coaching staff has spent a lot of time in Canada over the last few years trying to find some great talent up there. And boy, did they find a young man out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Bol Kong. And wow, can this guy really shoot the three? It's like he never misses. We had a chance to sit down with Bol, and he had a lot to say. Okay, Bol, tell me about your name. What's Bol mean?
It means I was born after twins in my culture. Anyone who's born after twins gets the name, give it to them.
And you had twin sisters?
Yes, I have two other twin sisters.
And what are their names?
Naincha